Howdy doody folks, and top of the morning to you. Today we're going to be learning Blake Shelton's Bible verses. I personally really enjoy playing this song, and I think it will be fun for you to add this song to your repertoire of guitar songs to play. Before we get started though, I would like to take a quick second to let you know that if you're having trouble with this song, or you just need guitar lessons in general, I'm your guy. I teach one-on-one online lessons, whether that be on Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, etc. And for a very limited time, I am offering you your first lesson free. You heard me right. Your first lesson free. Think of it like a free trial of sorts. Now, if you're interested in that, my email will be down in the description box below. But otherwise, let's get to it. We are going to be in drop D. That means your strings from your face to the floor will be D, A, D, G, B, E. Our capo will be on our first fret. You're going to start by hammering on your A string from 0 to 2. And everything is relative to the capo. So we have, then I'm going to immediately after that pluck the D string with my middle finger over on this side. So we have, okay? Remember that because that will be used many times throughout the song. So for this main riff, the entire time we are playing through this riff, we're going to be hitting your low E string, or if you want to call it your D string because it's tuned down, the string that's closest to your face regardless. You're going to be just hitting that with your thumb on quarter notes. Then it's just what you do up here that makes it fancy. The hardest part of this riff is to make sure that your thumb will be independent of your other fingers. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our third finger, our ring finger, and we're going to put it on the second fret of our D string. And we're going to slide that from 3 to 5. You're going to first hit it with your middle finger on your right hand and basically pinch them together. They're going to happen, your thumb and your middle finger are going to happen at the same time. Like so. But remember, this needs to keep going on, so we have a, that's where your thumb hits. And then you're going to hit your middle finger after your thumb. So you have a, immediately after that, you're going to go back down to the third fret of your D string, and you're going to hit your thumb and then your third finger again. So you have a, then we're going to hit our E string again, and then we take our third finger off, and you're going between the D string and your low E string. That happens twice. So you have a, and then you keep hitting your E string. So it'll sound like this. You hear that? It's just this little, okay? So that's the first part of our riff. Play it with me slowly. Again. One last time. So for the first section of the second part of this riff is going to mimic the first one. It's just going to be down a string on the G string. So sliding from 3 to 5 on your G string, and over here you're just going to expand your fingers out one so that you're including your low E string and your G string. That stays the same. It's identical to the first one. And then really, this next part is identical too, but you just don't slide back down. You're going to put your first finger back down on the third fret. So we have. Then this next part is also the same thing as the string above it, but the thing that changes is that you're going to put your first finger down on the third fret of your G string rather than sliding down. And then we're going to hit the 5th fret of our D string with our third finger. And I like to go between these two on my right hand with my first and my thumb. And it's the same pattern as the open D on the first section of this main riff. So in its entirety, it'll sound like this. It happens a second time. Then we get into the verse. The bulk majority of the verse is going to be a D chord. The cool thing about drop D and a D chord is that it allows you to utilize all of your strings, which we will definitely be taking advantage of. Throughout the verse, the same rule still applies. You're going to be keeping your thumb going on quarter notes on the root notes. In this case, D, which is really just your low E string. So let's talk right hand for a minute. My thumb will be on the low E string, then my first on the G string, and my middle on the B. So first, I'm going to hit the low E string, and then together, I'm going to put my thumb and my third finger down. So we have a following so far? Cool. Then I hit the low E string again. Then it's my first finger, the low E string again, and my middle finger. So we have a So during the 8th time that you go through that riff, you can change things up a little bit and add a little bit of spice. The way I like to add a little spice, and the way it is done in the recording, is by tagging on the second part of our main riff, the and then the little hammer-on we learned at the beginning. So we have and then we go slide up to a G chord. Now I like to do a G chord differently than you normally would, just because we have our low E string tuned to D, and you can't, that just doesn't sound good. Yeah. What we want to do is put our third finger on the 6th fret of our A string, or 5th fret from the capo. Our pinky right below that on the 6th fret of your D string, or the 5th fret from the capo. Your middle finger will be on the 5th fret of your G string, and your first finger on the 4th fret of your B. So your thumb will just move down a string, and then what I like to do is I like to do thumb, then these two fingers on the G and the B, my middle and my third. And my first finger is going to be on the D string. So, back to D. You know what I mean? So that whole phrase happens twice, and on the second time while you're on the G, going into the chorus, you just strum it out real dramatically, and then we're into the chorus. So we're going to be staying on the G chord for the beginning of the chorus, but for the chorus we're going to be strumming the G chord. It's going to be a down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. And then we're going to go back to our D chord, and we're going to play it just like we played it in the verse, but just twice, and then we go back to the G chord. Then we go to a B minor chord. If you don't know how to play B minor chord, what we're going to be doing is putting our first finger on the 2nd fret of our A string relative to the capo, or the 3rd fret if you're disregarding the capo. Then your third finger will be on the 5th fret of your D string. Your pinky will be right below that on the 5th fret of your G, and your middle finger will be on the 4th fret of your B. The picking pattern for this is just like your D chord if you took your thumb down a string. So we have, okay? Immediately after that B, we go down to an A chord. An A chord is going to be accomplished by barring the 2nd fret of your D, G, and B strings. like so, with your first finger. I like to use my index finger. Some people prefer to put your first finger on the 2nd fret of your D string, middle on the 2nd fret of your G, and your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of your B. Same difference, whatever makes you the most comfortable. The picking pattern will be exactly the same as it was on the B minor. Okay, so far we have Then, right after that, we're going straight up into our G chord again. And finally, our A chord. So we go A, G, A, but this last A, you just strum out and be like, yeah! And back into the main riff. And this time, for this main riff, what you're going to do is you're going to tag that hammer-on thing at the end of the riff rather than the beginning like it was in the intro. That just leads you right into the verse. The second verse is basically the same thing as the first one was. And then we're into another chorus, and then we're in this little section in between the chorus and the bridge. In that section, there's a little lead guitar, but what I like to do, especially if you don't have any other accompaniment, if you are the only guitar player and say you're singing, I would prefer to stay down in the lower register because it's fuller, we have more of the frequency spectrum, and it's just going to sound better if we stick there. We're going to be doing the same strumming pattern as always, and we're going from our D to a G, and then to an A, and into the bridge. So for the bridge, we have 2 chords. We have an E minor and our normal G that you know. So for the E minor, just in case you don't know it, you're going to be putting your middle finger on the 2nd fret of your A string and your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of your D. Now make sure you do not play the low E string or the string that's closest to your face. We're going to be doing the same strumming pattern as we did for the G in the chorus. And on the 2nd G, you're going to just strum it out. Now for the last chorus, I like to do something a little special. I just like to give it a little bit more energy than the previous choruses, just to have that dynamic range of the song and to be building, like, you know, chapters to make each section of the song bigger than the previous one. For this one, I like to strum everything. Into the intro of the song, basically. And then you just hit the A string, that one, and then your D chord. That, my friends, is how to play Bible verses by Blake Shelton. If this tutorial was helpful for you, please remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you know when I release new videos. And by the way, I did do a playthrough of this song, so if you would like to play along with me from the front to the back, you can check that out up here. Once again, my friends, it's been a pleasure. Can't wait to see you guys in the next video. You have been watching Logan's Lessons. Take care.